Yeah.
We sang that song. I think we learned in the moment right before the wedding. And
Terrified.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful moment. Many, many happy years after that.
Yes.
For them. I'm super grateful that I had a safe place to become here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of churches, maybe not even a lot of churches, but a lot of just organizations in general, regular jobs, like you kind of want the finished, polished product, and we can skip over the unpolished gem right in front of you. I've seen a lot of things in the church, and I was like, I want nothing to do with it. Because of this, I had all these reasons.
Yeah.
And she was like, she listened so polite. She's like, yeah, I don't think so. I think that's the exact thing you're supposed to be doing. And so I sat with that. I took it to God.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And now it's a place where like, I was like, okay, Lord, well, help me love your people, because your people crazy. Yeah. I'm crazy too, but they crazy.
Your people crazy, though.
Your people crazy, man. And I'm one of your people. That's how I know they crazy. Yeah. You know?
It's just me and the Lord. Nowadays I barely pray with my eyes closed. Don't want to miss a second of this blessing. I tightrope. If sky is the limit I fly towards, then how far should I reach? Hit the mission survival. I sing a song to carry God wherever I go. This aphorism is an affirmation for high hopes. So wine toast to the Most High.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Worship Afterisms Pod. Y'all, I'm so excited about who I have next to me today. Y'all are in for a special treat. First of all, I met this friend, this sister, okay? Actually, the first time I met her was actually at a wedding of a mutual friend of ours. Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Jesus. 2019, y'all. I met her for the first time, and honestly, I was terrified. I was like, and I gotta sing next time.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out all these years later. That's crazy.
I was terrified, but I was like, yo, she's so dope and so cool. But what she doesn't know is actually, I had a friend that I was traveling with multiple times back and forth between Kansas City and Tulsa and coming to Transformation Church and just sitting. And I was in a season at that time where I was like, man, God, what are you doing? And what am I supposed to be doing? And y'all were singing this song at the time, and I was face planted the entire service. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I need to keep coming back a couple times until God readjusts me in whatever he's doing, you know? Crazy. And then end up lining up like 2 years later. We're singing at a wedding together.
2 years later.
Yes.
Wow.
From that time period.
That's wild, actually.
And I'm like, yo, that's insane. But y'all, Destiny is a radical worship leader out here in Tulsa at Transformation Church. And she is so dope. And I cannot wait for you guys to also hear her testimony, because what God has done in her life and how she lived it out and expressed it is insane. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to Destiny.
Hey guys, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Look who I'm sitting next to.
Please.
I'm excited to be here. That's so crazy. I did not know the other part of that story. For one, y'all coming back and forth to TC, but even in that moment, it was just so cool. We sang that song. I think we learned in the moment right before the wedding. And
Terrified.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. Many, many happy years after that.
Yes.
For them. Oh my gosh, crazy. That's crazy.
Well, would you tell us a little bit about who you are and what your worship story is for our community that doesn't know you yet?
So like you said, I'm Destiny Joy Crockett. I am born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is where I've always lived. When I was younger, I hated it. I couldn't wait to get out of this city. And as I got to be an adult, I learned about things like cost of living and learned to appreciate. Tulsa is a special place. It's very special. So I'm grateful to be from here. But from Tulsa, from the town, and I've been leading worship. I realized right before this when we were talking, about 20 years now, which is crazy. I was 14 years old. My mom was a pastor, and she's still traveling, ministering, doing all that stuff. But she was pastoring a church. And the youth pastor at the time, Apostle Sherman Dumas, I will always tell this story and always give him the credit, because that man, if he don't hear from God, I don't know who does.
Okay.
Because look him up if you don't know that man. But he's the youth pastor. And mind you, like, I have an older sister. She sings down. She studied classical music in school. My mom was a professional opera singer. She studied classical music. She's also like gospel trained, all these kind of things. She was the singer. I was like I didn't sing in school. I didn't do no choir. I didn't do no nothing. And I just was like, yeah, this is not a thing that I do. And he out of nowhere says, hey, we're going to start a youth worship team and you're going to lead it.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
Funny how that works.
Where in the world? And I was 14. I always tell people, I'm like, without that, I would have never, like, that wasn't something I was going to explore for myself. It wasn't like a little hidden, like, well, maybe one day if someone I wasn't looking for a platform. Like, he literally just pulled that out of me. And I remember we had like a youth Sunday, and I sang in front of like my family for the first time, and they were all like, "What? Like who knew this?" And so that's where I kickstarted. It became just a small seed planted of like, okay, well, I guess this is what I do. Like I can sing at church if that's cool. I would use that gift that way, and I always tell people like God had me say a lot of small yeses. To lead me to where I am now. And I haven't arrived anywhere, but like just the point that I am was a bunch of small yeses. I said yes when I was 14. And then I said yes when I was 19 to, okay, let me not just sing at youth, but I'll sing it at big church, we called it at the time, because even though we were adults, we felt like little kids. And, I said yes to like, I'll just come serve at the church, like leading a little bit more. And okay, I'll start working part-time at the church. Oh, okay, God, I'll leave my job without a promise of a job at the church. God. Like small yeses. And it makes it easier to start saying bigger yeses when you start with a little bit here. And I think maybe that's not how God speaks to everybody. For me, because he knows his daughter. Mm-hmm. I need some small yeses sometimes. I need sometimes, to just, because God, like, he looks at our obedience to build trust in us, right? Yeah. But we can trust him fully in the beginning. Yeah. We just don't know that we can sometimes. And so he's gracious enough that he gave me just say yes to this. Say yes to this. And so that's the short version of a long story of how I ended up doing this with my life.
Love that. Well, what I want to ask you, so the church in which you are leading at, if anyone knows the history behind just Transformation TC, you guys went, the place actually that I was visiting wasn't actually the church we're currently in, right?
Not in 2017.
It was like a storefront, like
a literal storefront.
Yes.
Like grocery sliding doors in the front.
Facts.
Storefront.
That like a move of God was happening in, right? Yeah. And then it felt like almost overnight, God blessed you guys with something so large.
It felt like that.
And so huge. And it looked like that, right? But my question is, how was that transition? What did that feel like? What did that teach you? Like going from storefront to like stadium? Yeah.
Oof. How much time do we have?
We got time.
The lessons, the afterisms.
Yeah.
So I would say like imagine like a teenager, that summer you have that growth spurt and it's like, I was this tall and, little boy didn't have the acne. No girls was looking at him. He didn't have, all that kind of stuff. And you leave school in May. In August, none of your clothes fit. Everyone's looking like, oh, that's little Johnny from back in whatever. A lot of growing pains. Yeah. A lot of growing pains. And the beautiful thing about growing pains is that you're growing. Yeah. And so it looked like a lot of prayer. Okay. A lot of prayer. A lot of prayer. A lot of, God, are you sure you want me to? Because like I said, the small yeses, it was like, because I'll say yes to leaving as well.
That's what you want, Lord. We'll leave.
But a lot of prayer, a lot of seeking God, a lot of things in the background. But the truth is, like you said, like it looked like it felt like, oh my gosh, overnight. But we were building a foundation for years and years and years and years. Yeah. That God just put his hand on. Yeah. Our goal was never to be, what are they called now, a mega church. Our goal was never to make sure we could be the biggest this or that, whatever. Like God gave us a vision. Yeah. Like I gave our founding pastors, Bishop Gary and Debbie McIntosh in 1999, like a vision to reverse the curse. If you don't know a lot of the history of Tulsa, where we are, there was an extremely horrible race riot in 1921, one of the most successful Black like meccas of our country, and overnight was burned down, destroyed. And that side of town in Tulsa kind of carried that pallor of just heaviness, darkness. It was kind of like, this is the black side of town, and just a lot of things were happening there. And so this older middle-aged white gentleman plants a church on that side of town because God told him to reverse the curse. And we saw a church filled with all kind of different people and backgrounds, and did that for years. And I was a part of it before it became Transformation Church. It was Greenwood when I first got there. And so it's a long foundation. People might have heard of us in 2018, 2019, but like 1999, like this man and this woman were standing on a corner praying and seeking God with their shoes off because God told them, this is holy ground. I'm going to seek your face here. Yeah. So a foundation like that, we're standing on the shoulders of so many giants. And so that's why when something happens like that overnight, it didn't topple. Yeah. Because we had have a very strong foundation. Like Bishop Gary is still there. Every Sunday he's in town, he's in his seat at that church. And so it was a very strong foundation. We had really clear vision. When Pastor Mike became the lead pastor, he came in with really clear vision. Yeah. And it helped us know what we were aiming for to move forward. And so that, all of those things, the foundation, the building, certain things we're committed to, like a standard of excellence, creating encounters, inviting the Holy Spirit into everything we do, made it not necessarily easier all the time, but you could be more sure of what was happening because we knew it was not anything that we did because we didn't change anything. Yeah. We didn't say like, oh, we're going to start marketing this way. Like, we just kept doing what we were doing, and God was like, boom. Yeah. A clip goes on Twitter and a bunch of people repost it overnight, and now people are seeing our ministry and have eyes on us. And so, once again, a lot of small yeses. I think that's like the reverberating thing. Like you say yes to God, and there's infinite things he can do with your yes, for real. And so it felt like a lot of growing pains. It felt scary at times. It felt like imposter syndrome at times. I'm super grateful that I had a safe place to become here. Yeah. I think a lot of churches, maybe not even a lot of churches, but a lot of just organizations in general, regular jobs, like you kind of want the finished, polished product, and we can skip over the unpolished gem right in front of you. Like somebody saw Destiny then at 14, someone saw Destiny at 19, all these things, like, and thought like, I see something. I see what God sees, and help me to like, oh, come out of that shell, or, polish off these edges. Like, stop talking people crazy. Like, you kind of got a smart mouth. You got to be kind, like things like that. And so I'm just grateful for that safe place to become. So it looked like that. It looked like a lot of growing pains, but a beautiful foundation we got to stand on.
Man, I love that. But what I really like what you were saying in the conversation is that somebody saw the unpolished gem and worked on it. And I agree. So many times churches, they skip over that for the polished thing. Yeah. And then oftentimes the polished thing isn't really polished, but come on, somebody. It's not really polished, but the gift looks good. Yeah. So we pick the gift.
Because the gift is without reproach. The gift not going nowhere.
That's facts.
But a lot of things can go without the other side of it. Yeah, the gift without prayer, without fasting, without a lifestyle, like, that's a different situation. But go ahead.
Yeah. I love that. I also love that you've continued in your journey with the small yeses. The small yeses and for our community, because there's a lot of people who I think would be looking at you on this podcast and they're like, oh my God, she's the pinnacle of what we want to be, right? Lies. But oh my God. Like, I think people look at your position and you become a role model for them. I know you've become a role model for me, but not just a role model, but a friend. We've had a lot of random conversations just through social media, but people can look at that and be like, man, she has something, but the small yeses meant that you had to work for it, right? It meant that you had to say yes to God, and even just singing, or yes to God, and oh man, I probably need to check my attitude, because the Lord is saying check your attitude, because your attitude is going to get in the way of where you're about to go, right? That kind of leads into my next question. I think with people, when they see you, and of course, now you guys, of course, are getting to be on tour and do all the things because TC is making their music. Woo, woo, woo. Ooh, plug, it's so good. Look at that transformation version. We out there. Plug. But in that, my question for you is, how do you transition from being like on a tour for a month, right, and experiencing what people would call the celebrity life. I know for us, we'd probably be like, oh, that's just regular life, right? We're just doing what God called us to do. But what others would see as the celebrity life, but then return home with the posture still to serve God, serve God's people, and be here at church. Like, what does that feel like? How do you experience that? Is there any like, oh my God, this is wow. We just sang with such and such yesterday, but I'm back home now. And is the transition hard? Is it surreal? What is that for you?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, and I want to speak very clearly. Like, this is my calling and my experience, and so there's a lot of people in our world. Here's the thing: being a worship artist, I don't really know where this came from. Yeah, like we're all meant to be worshipers. Yeah. Worship Lord in spirit and in truth, like, and if you have that gift to lead people in that, you are a Levite, you are a priest. That's what the Bible says. And so that calling in our modern day became like, and if people really like that, you might get these other platforms that make you this other thing. Yeah. And so and many of us are called to infiltrate both spaces, and I want to be very clear about that. There's nothing wrong with that. But my ultimate thing, I know that God called me to the church. Yeah. That's where I'm the most effective. Yeah. I'm effective as a worship leader. I'm effective as a worship coach, training up other worship leaders, helping other churches figure out how they can create whatever the unique experience and expression is in their house. Yeah. And so for me, it's an easy back and forth because this is my home. This is where I'm called to do what I'm called to do. Yeah. And it makes it easy as long as you keep sight of that, where if I'm going somewhere else, that means I'm just doing that same thing here. Like in the Bible, you look at the Israelites, when we were getting the tribes and the Levites and all that, they were meant to create meeting places. They created tents literally to carry the presence of God. Yeah. And so on a tour, I'm just carrying my ark. I'm carrying the presence, the anointing that God has blessed me to carry to this other place. So if I'm in Cleveland literally we're at a club, the House of Blues in Cleveland, like fire. It was one of the most incredible nights of the tour in a club with the whole bar to the right of us, like, it didn't matter because,
y'all sang in the club.
We sang in the club. In the club. People in the audience. We sang in the club. Okay. We was in the club. Yeah, that's in the club. We all, what did they say? We all fam. Like, literally. In the club. Like, yeah. Cause, and that was an incredible thing too. Like, one of the things we say at our ministry all the time, we're called to represent, like to show and give God differently. People have had him messed up. They've had him misrepresented in a lot of ways. And so being like, yeah, it don't matter where we at. We're going to do the same thing. And so for me, it was easy. Now, the little day-to-day stuff of like, you know, we came home a couple times in between. Like, I'm only coming home to kiss my husband for 2 seconds and do laundry. This is my brain. What time zone am I in? Like, that's a whole other thing. But the work side of like, oh, coming back home, this is a gift. Yeah. Like, I get to be back with the place where I'm called to refill here as well as pour out here, and then carry my little tent somewhere else and give them a little piece of my story and my testimony to help them. And like I said, other people, there's lots of different ways around that, because I think some people aren't necessarily called as worship leaders to only the church atmosphere. They might be called more to the artist side, and that's the place they're called to infiltrate the most. And so that might feel a little different for them to go back and forth, and the same encouragement of like, hey, keep your prayer life up, because just like that, anything can shift and change. Yeah. Like, I've seen that in my life. Yeah. My life has drastically changed over the last several years. But once again, that foundation, it kicks in. And so it made it easy. It really did. It really did.
Come on. But I do also, I'm going to go back really quick because you said some people are called to worship, but there are some people who are also called to the artist. Yeah. How, for our viewers or those who are listening, how would they understand or discern the difference? Yeah. In your opinion, how would they discern the?
Ooh, I don't think there's a black and white way. I don't think there's it's very, you could say it's very gray, I guess. Yeah. Because, and I want to be intentional and say this. Like, a friend of mine had posted something the other day, just like saying, you know, every single church doesn't have to release an album or like a project. Like, there's nothing wrong with not doing that. At the end of the day, you need to be familiar with and know and hear God's voice for yourself. Nobody else can tell you what he told you. they can confirm, like, and it says his word always confirms itself. He uses prophets, apostles, all the things. Like, I've shared my own story about, I've been spoken over and things that propelled me where I am in my life. But ultimately, God has to speak to you. And on top of that, you need people in your life that can give you the sit down and shut up card, or you give them your sit down and shut up card. Like, we don't really need to talk about it. At the end of the day, if you think I'm out of line for real, I've humbled myself enough to be like, you have this place in my life. And I have people like that in my life. I literally, the very first time I went to travel to another church because I felt like God was calling me outside of just our house, I went to 2 of our executive pastors here on staff. And I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, at any point, if you feel like, Des, you doing too much, tell me I'm doing too much. And I'm going to sit. I'm going to be here. Yeah. Like, not with the attitude, not with the... And that's a scary place to be. It's a very vulnerable place to be. It's a humble place to be, because you can often feel like later on maybe you gave someone that card and they don't understand or whatever. Mm-hmm. Trust that the reason why you gave it to them then, the God that you trust, if you're submitted to this authority, like, God honors that. And so I think you need to know for yourself, but having those guardrails and borders in your life of people that can speak into your life for real, that have wisdom, that seek God as well, will definitely help you. But it's good to know. I think a really clear sign that would help you probably in any area looking for what is God calling me to. The thing that oftentimes rubs you the most the wrong way, like the thing that really just, like, for some reason, no one seems to be bothered by this, but it really gets me, or I just feel such a heavy, like, leaning toward a burden towards this. That's often the thing. Like, I remember maybe I was 20 years old and I was speaking with someone that speaks into my life, and she was just kind of asking me, like, where do you feel like, similar to what you said, like, where do you feel like you're called more to, like, the church, the world, whatever. And I was like, I don't think it's the church people at all. Like, church people, they're like, mind you, I've grown up in church. My mom was a pastor, has been a minister my whole life. Like, I've seen a lot of things in the church, and I was like, I want nothing to do with it. Because of this, I had all these reasons. And she was like, she listened so polite. She's like, I don't think so. I think that's the exact thing you're supposed to be doing. And so I sat with that. I took it to God. And he was like, And now it's a place where, like, I was like, okay, Lord, well, help me love your people, because your people crazy. I'm crazy too, but they crazy.
Your people crazy, though.
Your people crazy, man. And I'm one of your people. That's how I know they crazy, you know? A lot of times it'd be like that very thing. It's like, for some reason, it bothers you so much that, like, the healthcare in this country is so crazy. For some reason, it bothers you so much that, like, when you see someone on the side of the road that doesn't have a place to live, like, you keep a little cash in your glove box for those moments. Like, everyone doesn't do that. You realize that. And so it might be that that's the reason, like, God's putting those seeds in your heart. And so when it comes to that whole, like, the worship artist, worship leader, whatever kind of thing, it may be like, do you always feel like when you see people that leave the church, or that people that, there's so many people that are amazing singers, artists that started out in church. It's like, does that prick your heart a certain way that you feel like, well, how come they didn't have a space to? Oh, maybe that's because you're supposed to revolutionize that industry. Like, and not to just jump in and lose yourself, but to represent God in that space. And so that's the best advice I would give someone that's like, where am I at in that?
That's crazy. I love that. I actually love that, because I agree with you. I'm a PK as well, and I got a chance to see. Oh my God! Oh my God! I got to see all the things, and I was like, I'm not being a pastor.
That's a good way to say it. I got to see all
the things, and I was like, no, I'm not being a pastor. I'm not serving in the church. Actually, I was in my mind, I was actually trained at the conservatory within our state for classical music, and I thought I was gonna leave, and I was about to be out here aria, like, doing my thing, and
that's crazy. I can see that. No, now you're like, I get that. But wow,
God said no. He was like, come on back. And then I think another shift happened when it was ready in time for me to start Worship Afterisms, where I was really nagged, because I was just like, man, the support in some churches, not all churches, the support for worship leaders is not there. Like, relationships, friendships, the community is not there. And I was like, man, so what's my answer to that, Lord? Because is bothering me.
Yeah.
Right. And you have your own experiences of like lack of community or your own experiences that God brings you, and then it nudges you a little bit more and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
God, what do you want me to do with this? And then henceforth, Worship Afterisms.
Yeah. And you find out you were playing checkers and he was playing chess.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, you 10 moves ago set me up
That part.
for this moment in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your ways are not my ways.
Yeah.
That's right.
Your thoughts are not my thoughts.
I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
It's one of my favorite things. Like there's so many names of God, you know, but God is a divine orchestrator.
Yeah.
I literally, one of my tattoos is like a little conductor with a little baton. Because
Come on.
I can just look at so many spaces in my life. Like I love movies, and I love a good movie where like at the end you're like,
That's it.
Yeah. I love that moment. And so I just feel like when God does it in my life, I'm just like,
God, I see what you're doing, Lord.
it's fine.
Yeah. He does that often.
Often.
So often to
we
so
miss
many
it
people.
often.
And
it's like, if you just would take a moment instead of being bitter or sad, and there's space for those things when real life happens, of course. And hold the tension of, and
yeah.
wow, he was with me there.
Yeah.
He opened that door there. He didn't cause that. He may have allowed it, but he didn't cause that.
Yeah.
But he already made 10 other options or 10 other ways for this to work out, even though you hit that bump in the road.
Yeah.
That maybe it wasn't your fault. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, it's,
Yeah.
if we paid attention to those, I think our outlook would look a lot different a lot of the times.
Come on. I think that leads into my next question for you. I think there was a bump in the road in your life that came up that was like, all right, what the heck?
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of want you to share that with our audience because I think your testimony, and I'm going to let you share it yourself, your testimony is going to impact somebody who may be going through something and being like, yeah, that's my moment to stop. But something that I also want you to speak on while you're telling your testimony is what caused you not to stop and what caused you to live it out the way that you did. And I think you know what I mean by live it out the way that you did, because a lot of people would have been like, yeah, I'm going home. I'm sitting down. I'm not doing that. So talk to us about it.
Yeah. So let's see, June 27th, 2022. I get a call. This is after gone to a few appointments, had some tests done. 30 years old, healthy. I've never had anything wrong.
Yeah.
Never broke a bone, never had like a serious illness. And felt something, went to the doctor. They ran some other tests, did a biopsy, get a call from a nurse, and we're at the church. We're not fully in COVID, but our church had not reopened because we were also in the middle of construction at this building. And so we are about to record a prayer service.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally on stage for sound check. I can look back, it's like it was yesterday. And I get a phone call from a sweet nurse named Regina, and she's like, hey, Destiny, so we got your results back. So they were positive, and you have stage 3 infiltrating ductal carcinoma, which is breast cancer.
Yeah.
It's invaded from one of your breasts to your lymph nodes on that same side. And I'm on the phone with her, and I'm like, first of all, what is infiltrate? I don't even know what this word
Please
means.
explain in English.
My sister is at the time, she's one of our other worship leaders on the team, and I call her over and ask if I can borrow her phone real quick, and I text myself what she just said, because I'm like, I'm not going to remember these medical terms. And I text myself this real quick, and I was like, and she's like, okay, so we're going to have you come back, whatever, next day. I don't even remember. From there, it's just like the Charlie Brown wah, wah, wah voice. And I hang up the phone, and I'm like, okay. What do we do?
Yeah.
It was like everything kind of paused. And I'm not joking. Like, I'm not capping. We were on stage, like, you were in a sound check. I stopped to take this phone call. And, we're singing. I can't remember the second song we were singing. We were singing 2 songs, but one of the songs was Sustain. It's one of our songs at Transformation from Transformation Worship. Pastor Michael, our lead pastor, wrote that song in the middle of a trial in his life when his son had just been diagnosed with autism. Yeah. And he started the song, and we, in a writing camp, right the year before, we kind of like brought it together and kind of fleshed it out and finished this song. And it was just special to all of us. And that was the song already on the schedule before we, anything happened. And I was supposed to lead it. And I started to sing it.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. That's not happening.
The first line is holding on to your word. You were there at the start.
Please.
Won't leave at this part. I think I made it that far. And I said, Melody, could you lead this song?
Please.
And so when we're at the church, we record the service. It's about an hour. I leave right before I leave. My sister was like, "Hey, so you texted something to yourself?" I said, "I can't talk to you about that right now. I have to get home. I have to see my husband. I have to get out of here." And so I stayed and did that and went straight home and told him the news. And that's kind of where it really it really settled and was real. So that was June 2022, and we were in a space as a church. A lot of exciting things were happening. Like we were getting ready to reopen our doors a few months later. Yeah. We're ready to have our conference for the first time in a couple years because of COVID. Had paused everything, and I just was just in a space of like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Yeah. Once again, he's playing chess and we're playing checkers. Yeah. And he's kind. I think that's an underrated quality. Yeah. God is kind. And so intentional with us. And so I would say about a year before this, I'd had this moment with a friend of mine. He worked at the church at the time, and we had a meeting like across town, and me and my husband were sharing a car at the time. And so he was offering to drive me back to the other side of town, even though he lived on the side of the town where we had the meeting, to drop me off so I could meet my husband. And I was like, no, that's silly. Like, I'll just take an Uber. Like, he's like, you're not going to pay for an Uber. Like, I will do that. And I'm like, actively fighting, going back and forth with him about this, but out of my body feeling like, he's offering me a favor, just take it. Yeah. And eventually he basically like, you don't have a choice, like get in the car. And we're driving, and this is a really close friend I just was able to share. I was like, I think that I'm realizing like, I don't know how to receive love that doesn't have some kind of string, some kind of backdoor expectation. Like, I think that anyone that does anything for me, they're going to either ask for something back that I can't give back and I'll be indebted to them, or they're doing it out of like, I love you because we're supposed to love everybody, but you don't really like me, like at the core. Like you don't really, if you really knew what was really there. And I'm talking to him about all this, and I'm realizing like, oh, this is how I view myself through God's eyes. Like this is how I think that he sees me. Yeah. Like if I don't wake up every day at the right time and do my Devo time, if I'm not, a perfect Christian, I'm always saying the right things, doing the right things, if I don't serve at the church this much, if I don't do all these things, like his love will run out or expire. It's like growing up in church, knowing all these things that are not true, but I realized like somehow this truth had planted itself in my heart. Yeah. And this is just a casual Wednesday. We're driving and I'm realizing all this. And I was like, I got to get to the root of some things. And I'm a big proponent. We say this here all the time, but I'm a big proponent of theology and therapy. Yeah, come on. And you need both. You need both of them. And so I did two things. I took it to my therapist and talked through this realization. I would highly recommend theology and therapy, finding someone that also is a believer, because it can get a little murky. That's true. When it's the two. That's a whole sort of different name. But took it to her, but I also like on my own, like took it to God of like, okay, how do I do this? And one thing he had me do so practical was I created a playlist that was like my love playlist. And it was like just a bunch of songs, because there's so many different expressions of worship, and not every expression is all about him. Yeah. Because he's kind enough, like worship is for him. We're only meant to worship him, but he's also kind enough in worship to meet us a lot of the times. Yeah. And so I made this playlist of songs that were a lot of songs that just spoke to how he feels about us. And almost every single day for like a year, that was what I played in the car, in my quiet time, in my downtime. Like, yeah.
You still got that playlist?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I would love to do that. Yeah. It's very special to my heart. But I would just play those songs and help retrain my mind into understanding the truth and unroot those lies that, I don't even know how all of them really got there, but unrooting them and standing on the truth of that. And so for about a year, honestly, and I was working through that. So this diagnosis comes, And you would think, I spent all this time focusing on like how much God loves me and all that. And something happens that rocks that. I think your mind tells you, like, you would think, it's clearly he hates me.
Yeah.
Clearly
That's where we go.
Clearly he's coming for me.
Yeah.
And it was the exact opposite. And it's like, I am now so rooted in this.
Yeah.
You couldn't shake me off this foundation. If this is happening, that means for some reason he trusts me enough to know that I can handle through this. And I think that in church, sometimes we can overuse Job as an example of, because all of us didn't go through what Job went through, and I don't want to go through what Job went through by any means. But Job, when you talk about that story and it says like Satan comes to God and he's asking like about his servant Job, and he's like, have you considered my servant Job? Yeah. Considered at that time, it literally is like, it meant, if you go to the root of the word, it's like a military term that they would use like to say, I've considered this other enemy, I've considered this other army, meaning I've like looked at their stats, I've looked at what they have, I've already planned ahead and seen like they got this, and this. I've considered what we're up against, and I already made a decision. I've already see that we are able to defeat them.
You're talking good now.
What's up, guys? This is your host, Chris August. Hey, I want to take the time out to stop and say thank you so much for watching this week's episode. You, our viewers, are such a support and help to our community. Also, if you haven't taken the next step and you've just been dating our community, go ahead and commit and hit that subscribe button. I promise you, you don't want to miss any episode this season. We have some huge things planned for you. Also, if you found that anything in this episode has impacted you, go ahead and share it with a friend. That's the way that we grow, and I promise you, your friends also can grow from this community as well. Also, if you're looking for ways to help out our community, we have 3 ways that you can donate this year. 1, our Share a Cup of Love donation. All of our guests get a special gift from the podcast community when they show up on our platform. If you want to get involved in helping out on that and pass the love on, go ahead and donate there. Also, you can check out our merch shop where you can find all of our merch products and our official logo products, as well as you can check out our Amazon wish list that will help this community. Now let's get back into this episode. Talk to you later.
So he considered his servant. He said, have you considered my servant Job? And if God told the enemy, have you considered him? That means God already considered him. God already saw Job's stats and said like, yeah, he can weather through this storm. And so I think I felt very strong of like, oh, this means that God considered me. He considered the 30 years up into that point of life that I had faced. He considered what the testimony might look like if I said that small yes. At the time, it was maybe not small because we had grown to those bigger yeses. Yeah. He considered a lot of things and said, I can allow this to happen and it won't break her.
That's so good.
And so the shock in the moment happened, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna bear down. And so everything from there, I tell people like when they've asked like you know the bravery of like someone, the first time I came back to church, because I took a little time just to settle with it. It's very busy. If you go through that, if you have to go through chemo and radiation, all that kind of stuff, it's a lot. It's like a little pressure cooker of just like appointment after appointment, all that. So I took a little time off work. No one knew what was happening other than like very close people to me, my close church family and stuff like that. But when I came back for the first week to lead worship again, my hair had fallen out. Yeah. And I had shaved my hair or what was left of my hair. I had little locks, and it was, oh my God. But I came back and I went up there without a headscarf or a wig, but it wasn't like I'm going to do this to be brave. It was just like, I'm going to do this because wigs are hot and scarves fall off.
Come on, though.
And you ain't going to catch me out here slipping.
No Kiki moments.
Hey. No, but it wasn't like this. I would love to be like, I said I was going to go be a champion for everybody. It was like, no, this is where I'm at. But I remember that first Sunday, like, because I was able to actually share some of what I was going through that very week. And people were messaging me on Instagram, and like people that were going through alopecia for years that had never gone out of their house without something covering their head because they were embarrassed or ashamed. And I was like, I didn't even know this decision was like that. And it was like, God, if this is how you want to use this from this early on, I'm down for the ride, like whatever you want to do. And so I made a decision to share publicly, like on my social media platforms. I shared publicly with our church, anyone that, it wasn't a secret by any means. Yeah. And I would tell people like it was a miracle in motion. I think a lot of times, what you kind of hinted at earlier, a lot of people want to show you the finished, once again, that polished gem, that finished product. And it's beautiful to have the moment of 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with this and now I'm healed. Yeah. But it's also beautiful to show people, right now, God is healing me.
Oh my God. Please say that again.
Right now, I'm in the process of healing. I am a miracle and it's still in motion. Like, God is still finishing the work. I always tell people, I'm like, God is supernatural, but we're natural. Yeah. So sometimes we're just trying to catch up to his super.
That's really where I'm at. Yeah.
Like, he exists outside of time. So he exists 10 years in the future. Yeah. When I've been cancer free for 12 years, and he existed 3 years before now, when I was just in the middle of that. He's present in all those spaces. And so it was, I think at the time it was a bigger yes, but I led up to that point of like, me and God got history. We got trust for real. Yeah. Where I know if he's telling me to do this, that it'll make an impact, then I can trust him with that. I don't have to worry about, all that. And there's spaces where, there's times where that can get uncomfortable. It was weird at moments of like, a lot of people know my business for real. Like, and once I said before, church people are crazy. God bless them. Like, sometimes with the very best of intentions. Yes. I had the moments of someone sending me if you put cabbage leaves in your... I won't even go into the details. I'm not using that cabbage. People sent me some things to do. And that's a great encouragement. If you're with someone that is going through something, a chronic illness, a serious diagnosis, whatever, sometimes your prayers are enough. Yeah. Sometimes your advice, write a little letter, just mail it to them. Everything don't have to be said. But yes, church people, I love them. This is why it's my people. I don't know how to be only serious, unfortunately, but I would say another thing that got me through was a lot of dark humor. I'm gonna make a joke that is not okay. And love a good dark humor. God loves me anyway. Yeah. But yeah, it was a season, and so it was a lot of yeses, a lot of things that I say yes to. I think something that's really important about my story that I think a lot of people, because a lot of people will come to me and be like, "You led worship through the whole time." Mm-hmm. You have to know where you are. Once again, that sit down and shut up card, having people in your life that can really speak to where you're at. Yeah. Because the literal day I got that diagnosis, like, I knew that I was in a space I could still sing that day, but I knew I shouldn't have led that song. Yeah. And as worship leaders, we balance this tension of vulnerability that can come off sometimes. There's I've seen those Instagram videos, like a person that's when the worship leader overshares. But we have to balance the tension of vulnerability, but also don't bleed on the people. If your wound is too raw, you don't need to be on a platform spreading and sharing certain things. Come on. And there's so many times where, from doing this a really long time and just from my own discernment and gifting, I can sometimes see you need a little time. You might need to sit with this a little longer. You might need to, and so I had both things in that. I want to say all that to say, because people sometimes will be like, "Oh, Destiny, you led this whole time," but it's no. That day, I passed that song off. I took a couple months before I came back to lead worship again. When I first started chemo and all that kind of stuff, I was about 6 months in to this treatment. I just finished chemo. About 15 days later, my dad out of nowhere passes. Jesus. Unexpected. Nothing was wrong with him that we knew. He had been living in Atlanta for about 10 years, and we just got him to move back to Tulsa because he was getting a little older, not where we thought something was wrong, but it was just you need to be where your kids are. This is not, you shouldn't be by yourself out there. And in 2 months, he comes to Tulsa. Once again, chess, checkers. He's playing chess. He comes, we've been trying to get him to move for 2 years. He moves out of nowhere in October. He actually comes down for our conference that year and just stays. And in January, just slips away. I didn't come that Sunday and lead worship. Yeah. But some people, I've seen people that in those moments, they knew that's where they had to be. Yeah. You got to be tapped in. You got to be able to hear the voice of God for yourself. And so for me, I knew that I wanted to be here. So I came to church. I snuck in and went and sat, kind of off to the side. So I didn't have to just be around a lot of people. But I wanted to be here. I wanted to be in the presence of God. Yeah. I wanted to hear God speak to me in that space. And so, I did that. And then shortly after, I moved to a different city to finish treatment. it was just a better option as far as the healthcare was concerned. And so I moved out of state for about 5 months, me and my husband. And I came back here and there to lead worship, but like I was away. Yeah. And God continued to heal me as well on the inside through that time. And so people like often mistake like those two things. It's like God did give me an assignment. He told me to share. He told me to be open about it. He told me to keep leading worship, but he also didn't tell me to like kill my body in the process of like what you're going through. And so you have to know what God is telling you to do. For some people, it may be share your testimony while it's happening. Some people may be wait, because if you share it right now, you're vulnerable in a way that you can't be vulnerable yet. Yeah. And so I'd be intentional of like, I can't be up here bleeding on people because my father just passed. Now I only want to sing songs about the Heavenly Father. Okay. Is that what God wants to hear right now from us? Is that what your people need to be led to? Like, there's so much that we can get caught up in our own stuff. And like I said, there's a beautiful place of that, like an authenticity. I know that I lead from a very authentic place. Like when I lead worship, I want to show you where I've been so you can go there too. Yeah. But I can't lead you from a place that I'm still bandaging my arm and trying to cover this thing so you don't really. And now I'm more focused on my healing, my wounds, than what the people in the room that I'm leading are needing to experience. And so, yeah, I think that's a little bit of that story, that testimony. God is faithful. He is and was faithful. I went through 11 rounds of one type of chemotherapy and 4 rounds of it. So 15 rounds of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation, 2 surgeries, and through all that, in May of 2023, it's completely cancer-free. I'm still cancer-free. I will be cancer-free. God is a miracle worker. Yeah, I've seen it with my own life. You can't convince me he's anything less than that. Yeah. And so he's faithful. And yeah, that's a long story long, as I like to say. That's because it wasn't short. It's a good story. Like getting to see people from all over, and part of too of getting to share that story so publicly. I've had people reach out to me, that they have been blessed by it, but also like them going through the same thing, getting to see an example of like what God can do and how you can walk through that in faith. And it was just really beautiful. And so I don't take for granted by any means, like cancer doesn't receive any of the credit. Yeah. However, I can say like without that experience, there's a facet of God I hadn't yet discovered that I learned about. And got to see the beauty of like when so many people come together and pray for someone going through something. Like I don't take it for granted that people were praying for me, that people were calling my name out before God. Like that's an honor to get to stand in the gap for someone else and then someone else stand in the gap for you. And I said, this is all of our miracle. Like God did this for us. Like this isn't tell somebody else my story, because it's not just for me to share what God has done. And so, that's a little bit of that.
That's so good. I remember actually seeing that Sunday that you came back, and I thought, and I actually prepared a question to ask you, and I had thought that you had made this like, yes, I'm doing it kind of decision. Yeah. But I find it so cool that God uses just this moment of like, man, I just want to be in space with you, Lord, right? And out of it, he turns it into this radical story that becomes a blessing to other people, right? So you just showing up, God provided miracle.
That's a word right story. There. Sometimes you just showing up is a miracle.
Enough. Okay.
That's so good.
And that is really good. So I love that story, and I think there's so many people in our community that will help. And also you talking about you got to know yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to be in tune with you and God about where you are and what you can do. Yeah. Right? Because I think there's some people who will look at the story and be like, I so badly want to do that, right? And then they fall into the trap of, I'm going to do that, right? And then that thing eats you up. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, I can't do that. And then you feel bad about it because you couldn't do it because you stop that. Know where you are.
You got to count the cost. Because my oil costs something your oil not going to cost. Okay. And your oil costs something my oil not cost. I don't want to pay for your oil.
Okay.
People underestimate.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, baby. I'm expensive.
It's expensive. Well, Destiny, I want to actually pivot. Okay. Would you do a little singing with me today?
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. So
that's for Friends fans out there. I don't know if you. Cool. Absolutely. We'll pivot. Let's pivot.
I missed it. It went over my head.
It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
So we've started a game in season 2 of Worship Afterisms. For those of you that are tuning in, it's called Good Save, and I'll give a small description of what it is, and then we'll jump into the game. So Good Save is based off of this whole premise that worship leaders get a bad rep of not remembering lyrics. So everybody talks about us, and we don't remember the lyrics if that confidence screen is not running. It is like you got to make up some words because you that thing shut off. But Good Save is an opportunity to kind of redeem worship leaders. We'll see.
That's let's talk about that confidence monitor. That confidence monitor is a blessing
and a curse.
And it has got us because we're spoiled.
Got us trapped.
Sometimes I have a song I fully know every single lyric to, and I find myself just looking at that screen. What are you looking at?
That's big facts.
You wrote this song. Why you know
you did this? Well, so here are the rules. I will sing either chorus or verse of a song, and then when I stop, like right when I stop, your countdown starts. You got 5 seconds to pick up from where I left off. You can either sing the chorus or you can sing the next verse.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
If you don't, you pretty much lead your audience astray. You lead the congregation astray. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Our first song. Cool. I love you, Lord, and your mercy never fails me. And all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God.
I'm just caught up in you singing, my God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful.
Come on.
And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Come on.
I love that song.
Come on.
I love that song.
It's such a good song.
It's so powerful.
Okay, she got that one, y'all. She's showing out. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. This next one is a really good one, and I think you'll know it.
I hope so.
It's special. You're the creator. I stand in all of you. What's too hard for you? The great I am.
I am the offering.
Come on.
A sacrifice of praise.
Yeah.
My life I give away. God, here I am. Yahweh.
Yes.
You know I know that song.
Y'all, so
that song.
Yahweh is actually a TC worship song. Come on, y'all.
Transformation worship.
If you don't know it, it'll bless you.
It will.
It will really bless you.
It will.
Man,
I don't just say that. It will. It's a beautiful song.
Could you sing a little bit of the Yahweh for us?
You gonna sing with
Part? Me? Sure.
Yahweh, Yahweh, reign over. You can take over. Yes, sir. I'll sing it for me.
Yahweh, Yahweh, reign over. Take over.
That's right. Whatever you wanna do, whatever you wanna do, have your way, have your way. I love that part. You better sing. Yes.
Whatever you wanna do, have your way. Yeah. Have your way, Lord. I love that song.
You better sing.
I love that song.
I love that song. I love your voice.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It really is. And it's funny, like going back, hearing I'm like, oh yeah. I think that like people that sing like more contemporary or gospel, whatever you want to call it, but that you can tell have like that real training, it makes a difference. Cause your voice like butter.
Okay, because Denise Knowlton did not play with me.
Is that your
No, Denise Knowlton was my vocal coach.
Okay.
She did not okay?
That is funny.
This is a white lady, but I promise you she was black. I promise you.
I know what you mean. I can understand. Yeah.
We got one last song.
Okay.
And
Fuck
this one
it.
last song,
Do.
you know what? I just want you to minister it
Okay.
for the people listening. So, I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave.
And I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. 'Cause I just want you and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. God, I just want you and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you and nothing else. Nothing else matters. Nothing else will do. Oh God, I just want you and nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I love that song.
Man, because nothing else will do.
Nothing else. Nothing else matters. All this stuff could fade away in a minute. Like, whatever you think you own, whatever you think you belong, whatever belongs to you, you don't take to the grave. And so you may not have a year.
That's facts.
Your health is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Like, what's promised is that God will be with you.
That's it.
Nothing else matters at the end of the day.
That's it.
I love that song because it's such a beautiful story of like speaking to him, asking for his presence, and also repentance.
Yes.
Of like, hey, and I'm sorry because too many times I've got caught up in the stuff that does not matter.
That's facts.
It's beautiful.
That's facts. As we wrap up, if you can give us a short, what is your worship afterism?
My worship afterism, I have so many. I think that the main one that I think encompasses me as a person, as a worship leader, as a believer, I want to normalize the things of God in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Like what we experience on a Sunday at your church, on a Wednesday night Bible study, whatever it is, should not be relegated to that. Holy Spirit wants to be a part of your everyday life. And so for me, it's like I wish I had known sooner that my only job as a worship leader is to show them how to get where I want to be and where I'm going and where I've been.
Yeah.
I tell my team all the time, I'm like, keep one foot on the ground when you're leading worship. Because in your private time, which you should have if you're doing this, well, not should, you have to have.
Yeah.
That's where you go to the seventh heaven. You disappear for hours. You're caught up in his presence, and just don't even know what's happening. And when you're on a platform, people are following you. And so, I would say my afterism, going back to that, is I wish I had realized sooner. Like the goal is not to impress them with how quickly I can go somewhere, or how good I sound, or all those things. Like yes, practice, prepare, all that, but it doesn't matter if I'm not leading you somewhere. If I'm in the seventh heaven, you can't follow me if I don't have one foot on the ground showing you the way to go.
That's facts.
Even going way back to the story from earlier, the Israelites walking with the presence, the Ark of the Covenant, like they couldn't run ahead. You had to stay where the people could still follow you.
Yeah.
And so that would definitely be my aphorism. And like, make sure you're living a life where people, you're picking people someplace you have been,
if you haven't spent time with God, you're leading the blind for real. But also you're leading the people. You're taking them with you. The goal is not to leave them behind and get caught up in your own moment.
I love that. Well, where can our listeners and our viewers find you?
I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Do 7 shows a week. No, just kidding. I think that if the Lord would let me, I would definitely do like a little stand-up comedy on the side one time. I think I would really like to create just one good set. I'm still not for my husband as well. He also wants to do that one day, but I just would love to just get on stage and just be unserious for like an hour and a half. It would just be so great. Anyway, unrelated, you can find me on I don't know where that came from. Social media. My Instagram is enjoy_destiny. I'm on there. I have a TikTok. I don't really use it, but it's the same name on there as well. Trying to be obedient in this season right now and release something that I recorded over a year and a half ago, was just like me telling my story and my testimony through song and through sharing. And it's been a slow yes to the Lord, to be honest about that. And so that's what I'm working on. So hopefully that will be coming very, very soon. I'll be sharing about that. But yeah, I love to lead worship. I love to go to other churches, lead worship, coach worship teams. And so I'm available. Please come find me, reach out to me. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Come on. There you go. Y'all have heard it. It's Destiny, y'all. I absolutely have loved you on this show today.
I had so much fun too.
Dropped so many things for people to know and hear, and so many nuggets that are going to be great for clips, but also good for helping our community. And I just want to say thank you.
My pleasure, for real.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
There you go. Hey, y'all. As we wrap up, I just want to give a big shout out, first of all, to one of our donators, Made My back in Kansas City. Made My for donating actually a gift for our guest today that she has not seen yet. She'll get here in a minute, which is really cool. Yay. Also, I just want to remind you, if you're watching or you're listening, please, as you're watching this, leave questions down in the comments that you'd like to hear us actually talk to our leaders about and ask. And then also, I just want to remind all of you, please, make sure that you follow, like, and share. If this has impacted you in any way and it has touched you, I'm certain that it will also touch someone else. So please, to help us, first of all, subscribe.
Right.
Hello? It don't cost nothing. Just hit the button. Even if you ain't paying attention, I'm okay with that. But just hit the button and every now and then like content that impacts you, but then go ahead and share it to the next person. As we are closing, I hope that Destiny's story has transformed your life, as they would say here, which is really cool. I hope that it actually has impacted you. It has given you hope, but most of all, it has shown you how to seek God's presence for yourself, hear what you are supposed to doing, but that means that you got to spend some time with Him, okay? Spend some sincere time with Him. But as always, don't forget to use your worship aphorisms within your own communities to impact the lives of others. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being on our podcast and watching. Talk to you later.
Hey, my name is Destiny Joy Crockett, and I had such an incredible time at the Worship Afterisms Podcast. I'm a worship leader myself, and this was so much fun to get to just talk and share. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all the things you can do. Make sure you do it. Don't miss another episode of this podcast. And you can follow me too. My name is enjoy_destiny, all platforms, and check it out. Make sure you watch.